I want to talk about this Dreamgate situation.
Yeah, so we've been speculating for the last few weeks because of Rey de Parejas. Like, there's no real emphasis devoted to any of the other titles, and Champion Gate is this next weekend, and they only had 2 televised shows left, and they decided to do in the last block match Strong Machine J pinning Shun Skywalker clean. It's Shun's first clean loss since getting the Dreamgate. And then immediately doing a Dreamgate challenge for what we assume will be the main event of night 2 at Champion Gate. And Case, I guess the big thing we should probably talk about is this Dreamgate position and Strong Machine J getting his first Dream Key heading into Osaka this Sunday.
It's a massive spot, and it's one that I was not necessarily expecting. I really thought, the closer we got to Champion Gate, without a strong, clear match for the Dreamgate belt, they're going to do Shun versus Dragon Kid. They've got a natural rivalry there, 2 big stars. Dragon Kid has never challenged for the Dreamgate belt in that building, so it's not like they're beating him like a drum like they do for Dead or Alive. Felt very safe, felt very calculated, felt like it was the direction they were going to go. And then instead we saw Shun Skywalker and Kai run over the Double Dragons team in Fukuoka last week. And once they did that, I was left extremely confused on where we were going to go. And Mike, I don't know about you, I did not see this turning in Strong Machine J's favor. I'm kind of stunned by this series of developments.
Yeah, it was not what I expected, but Case, when we were doing our pre-production for the show, you brought up like the position of Champion Gate as this, and it made me go back and look at some stuff and look at what they've used Champion Gate for in the past, Case. And just like a jumping off point, this is kind of a testing ground. If you start looking through the past Dreamgate matches and through Champion Gate, if it's not going through a storyline or just wanting to have a good match, this is one of those places that they're willing to give people shots to see them in the main event or as a reward in some ways.
Yeah, so there's been, 11 Champion Gate in Osaka. Let me go through these Dreamgate main events real quick, and I think at some point you'll hear a definitive tone in the way that these Dreamgates have changed, because you start off in 2012, it's Shima versus Pac. 2013 is Shima versus Yoshino. 2014 is Masato Yoshino versus Ricochet. 2015, BB Hulk versus Uhaa Nation. 2016, Shingo versus Susumu. 2017, Yamato versus Cyber Kong. 2018, Masaki Mochizuki versus Ben K. 2019, Pac versus Shun Skywalker. 2020, Doi versus Susumu. 2021, Shun Skywalker versus Kaito Ishida. And 2022, Kai versus Big Boss Shimizu. Before I kick it back to you, Mike, I want to reiterate a point that was made to us last week. I reached out to someone in Japan, and I basically expressed my concern. I said, they've spent so much time on this tag league. It doesn't look like they're going with Dragon Kid. What are they doing in Osaka? I'm really concerned that they're not going to have any sort of house. And this person reminded me, look, it's Osaka. There's a guaranteed number of fans that are going to be there anyways. And this is not one of the 1A versus 1B superstar Dreamgate matches anymore. We've come a long way and have certainly taken a different perspective on this show than 2013 Shima versus Masato Yoshino. These last few matches, Pac versus Shun in 2019, Shun versus Ishida in 2021, and for as much as I love him, I think I do overrate Shimizu's star power at points in time. Kai versus Shimizu in 2022, to your point, very much proving ground matches.
Yeah, so in the list of people that you had in those main events, I counted 6 first-time Dreamgate challengers during that. So, as you're saying, the fans are going to be there, so you even go back all the way to the first one with Pac, and constantly this is a thing of saying, like, how are you in this scenario? Do you live up to it? Or are you someone that necessarily, it's like, maybe not for you. Maybe take a step back and reassess later, but one of those matches, Case, is a historic one with, if my timeline is right, I have no reason to believe it's not, the BB Hulk versus Ricochet match. If I'm right.
Yoshino versus Ricochet.
Yoshino versus Ricochet, that's right, because it's BB Hulk the next year. That is the first foreigner winning the Dreamgate title.
That is correct. The infamous homepage of F4W Online, like you always talk about, with Ricochet holding both the Freedom Gate belt and the Dreamgate belt. And that is very much, as we look through the history of these Dreamgate matches, sort of a rare, highly important Dreamgate match. By 2014, Yoshino is Yoshino, and I would put Ricochet, I'll say this, and you can certainly fight me if you disagree, I think 2014 Ricochet was a bigger star than 2023 Strong Machine J.
Yeah, no, absolutely so. But you keep on going through that list. Again, Pac having the Shun Skywalker's first Dreamgate match. Benkei is like, that was a huge test for Benkei in 2018. That's what this is. It was Champion Gate is the proving ground of the Dragongate Dreamgate picture.
That 2018 match is a match that kept me invested in Dragon Gate at a time where I really did not want to be invested in Dragon Gate. I was very much burnt in 2017, largely uninterested in 2018. And, this is 2 months before, the single biggest shift in the history of the company outside of Ultimo leaving. And, I remember at the time, you were on top of it. You were on top of this OWE split. You had the scoop before anybody else. And I was just, quite frankly, I couldn't wrap my head around it, and I didn't care all that much because I was really struggling to find interest in Dragon Gate. And that Mochizuki versus Benkei match, which you're exactly right, it was a proving ground style of match for Benkei, and I thought Ben was so good that it reminded me that I love this promotion.
Yeah, that was such a fascinating one because Ben won in the lead up in 3 minutes. And it was like Masaki Mochizuki said, like, all right, you did it once, you caught me. Now it's time for you to go in the deep end. And as we saw with Benkei, it was kind of hit and miss with him in the picture until nowadays. But it was such a big thing to have a match like that. It was such a big thing for Shun Skywalker to have that match in 2019. And for Strong Machine J, when you look at where he is with his peers, this is a big thing that, we've seen him we've seen him really progress over the last year. But Case, as the number one shareholder in Strong Machine J Industries, you have to feel pretty excited to see that your guy is now getting his first Dream Key.
Well, it's surreal in a sense because, look, Strong Machine J was awesome in that match. The Strong Machines versus Shun and Kai in this Kobe show. I went 3 3/4 on this match, and with all due respect to the aging Strong Machine F, and with all due respect to Kai, who I quite like, this was a match between Shun and Strong Machine J, and J in particular has a really interesting ability to take an ass kicking and still look tough. It's a very fine line because he takes a beating from a lot of these guys, but he always remains, quote unquote, in the fight. The thing that is crazy about this, Mike, I know if I ask you, hey, what are the Strong Machine J singles matches, you're going to have a tough time coming up with that answer. The list is actually smaller than I thought. On record, he has 10 career singles matches, and 2 of them are in Ryukyu Dragon Pro, so we have not seen them. He has 8 career singles matches in Dragon Gate proper. The first one being, it was him and Benkei, December of 2019. They had a 20-minute time limit draw in Corkin, and that match was a disaster. That was a real sign of concern for both guys. Ben was not any good. Strong Machine J was not any good. That match was not any good. He had an empty arena match with Eita. He had a quick match with a brand new, fresh out of the womb Takumi Hayakawa in December of 2021. And then last year, a singles match versus Ho-Ho Loon, a singles match versus La Estrella, a singles match versus Shun Skywalker, another singles match versus Eita, and then a week ago, he had a singles match versus Yoshiki Kato. 8 career Dragon Gate singles matches, and they are putting him, what it seems like, in the main event of Champion Gate in Osaka.
It's going to be interesting. I think that when you're talking about Strong Machine J, he's always going to have both the baggage and the bonus of being Super Strong Machine's son. And I think that it's something that will be fascinating to see how he is able to translate like that kind of pull into this when he's so clearly inexperienced as a singles wrestler. It's not like folks remember a ton of Super Strong Machine singles matches either, too. So it's not like there's a mold that we're trying to see him break from or inhabit. It just does not necessarily exist.
No, and I will hold on to as somebody who's optimistic on one, Strong Machine J's future, and two, just this match. He had a 6-minute King of Gate match with Shun last year. It's on YouTube, May 25th, 2022. 6-minute, basically TV style match. And I remember coming on this podcast the next week and going like, yo, that was really good. That was a 6-minute match. And it felt like they left a ton on the table, like they're going to circle back to this at some point. And I did not expect it to be in this situation, but here we are. And, simply over the last year or so, really since he's joined Natural Vibes, there's been an air of consistency with Strong Machine J that at prior points in his career he had not had. But now when I see his name on the card, singles match or not, I'm not biting my nails and wondering how it's going to turn out. He's a very solid pro wrestler, and this is his opportunity, much like Shun had with Pac in 2019. Shun was hotter. I think he was coming off of the rookie ranking tournament and a singles victory over Ben K. But let's be real, Mike. I don't think you or I watching that Pac match were expecting 2-time Open the Dreamgate champion Shun Skywalker, who, by the way, is one of the most charismatic individuals in all of wrestling. It's been a shock to us all, even looking at who he was in 2019, a supremely talented wrestler. It just so happens that it's a match with Shun in it, but I think that's the model that we need to follow here, because if you remember that Pac versus Shun match, and I wrote about this on voicesofwrestling.com at the time, there was 0% chance Shun was winning that match. I mean, he had beaten Ishida, and he had beaten Ben K, and he was white hot, but Pac was simply on another stratosphere, and it's very similar to how this is going to be. Strong Machine J has momentum, he's doing the best in-ring work of his career, but Shun Skywalker is on another stratosphere, and the result is not in doubt. The thing that you're going to hope for here, if you're Dragongate, if you're a ticket-buying person in Osaka, is just for 2.9 seconds at some point during the match, you can believe in Strong Machine J, that this is not the peak, but rather the start of something. And I'm inclined to believe, with the work that he's done over the last year, that he's capable of doing that.
Oh, absolutely. So you want to have the moment of buy-in. And I think Strong Machine J is going to be able to create that. And if you were to ask me this question this time last year, I think you're crazy. But as we've seen since he joined Natural Vibes, how he's been just otherworldly in a lot of ways. And especially considering that this is a guy who's able to emote so well with a whole face mask case. Like, he's going to be able to get so much emotion out of that. And I think that that's going to be the other aspect of this match. It's, can we get the buy-in, and can we get the crowd to just like hope to have that buy-in that he can perhaps beat him?
Yeah, again, it's stunning. It was not the direction that I saw them going in, and I think it's a bit of a risk. We have to look at the attendances, and I have the numbers here from 2019 onwards when, the company changed over and we were getting these shoot attendances. 2019, Pac versus Shun Skywalker did 1,113 fans. The next year, 2020, which, up to a few weeks ago was really the last true cheering show in Dragongate, Doi versus Susumu did 808. And then 2021, Shun versus Ishida did 500. And last year's Kai versus Shimizu did 510. So from a box office perspective, I think you breathe a sigh of relief at 600 fans. You're not going to hit 800, and you better be above 500. I think anything in that 540 to 600 range has to be looked at as a win, and anything above that, you're popping champagne.
Yeah, and especially the fact that you're dealing with 2 nights, so the first night will be weaker. Like, you're going to need that. You hope the Dreamgate night will pull it up, pull up the average here. Case as a random aside, I am watching the Dark, I guess, from today. And for one, the last match in the old Dark recording was Top Flight, AR Fox, and Matt Sydal versus the Trustbusters. And I don't know if you saw this one, but Slim J completely rolled through the nosedive, and it looked like that. It looked like that Dante was about to pile drive him again before they moved to the new Dark Zone. Just an aside.
I obviously have not seen this match, but I did see a match graphic for it, and I legitimately have a note saying, "Hey, go back and watch that Dark match tomorrow because that looks pretty good."
Hey, Case, go back and watch that Dark match tomorrow.
It's a shame that Matt Sydal is on Dark duty because last time he wrestled on Dynamite, whatever that was, he was still very, very good. And if I were Tony Khan, I would certainly have him penciled into some Ring of Honor plans. It looked like, did he and Christopher Daniels do something at the Ring of Honor tapings together?
I didn't see any of the spoilers. I mean, I did see like photographs of Daniels there, but I didn't see anything of Sydal here. The wraparound screen, like they've made this look like the UMBC when they did the Ring of Honor like empty arena tapings during the last 9 days of Sinclair days. Like it's actually a really nice look for Dark.
You know what was a really fun tag team? Matt Sydal and Mike Sydal. That was dog days of the pandemic. Just brutal, just hellacious earth. Every single day sucked. But man, I really like seeing those two guys together on national TV.
Yeah. No, that was a lot of fun because you also had like the little bit of the group where it was like them and Takeshita versus the Elite, like during the original Elevation days.
What was the first house show called? House Show Rules or something?
The house always wins. I believe.
House always wins. That was I believe that was the main event, was the Sydals and Takeshita versus the Elite.
Who would have thought? Like that is going to be a 5-star match game question in several years.
I'm ready, Joe Gagnon. Just send me the DM. Anyways, open the Dreamgate Championship stuff. Like I said, attendance, you gotta hope for anything under 500. Just given that they did that during the pandemic shows, you've really got to hope that they hit that threshold, and I think they will again. Just with everything I've been told about the current Osaka market, with the star power that Shun Skywalker certainly brings to the table, and with the fact that Strong Machine J is not a dud of a human. He's got his followers. He has charisma. I really hope they hammer this match home with the Cork and Hall show, but I don't know how they're going to do that given the way the card's laid out. But I'm excited for this. This is not something I saw coming, and I think it's something that could result in a big positive for everybody involved.
Not to belabor the point, there is a reason why Strong Machine J is always out doing PR hits. There's a reason why. He's a likable guy with a lot of charisma. So if given like an equal opportunity, like this has opportunity to be a lot of fun, and we'll see about the draw of that there.